Hi everybody. My name is Timothy Anyasi. I am with Orion, um, Orionjs, and a little bit of background about myself. I have been doing tech now for more than 10 years, and in that time period, I've been involved in more than just programming. In the I've had a company where we did outsourcing to Russia, and we did that for a number of years. And I also ran another company where we did branding. And before that, I had a company where we did e-commerce online. And so I've had the good fortune of not just being someone that provides web technology or whatever technology to end users, but being one that those services were provided for. Now, having said that, the reason why I became a part of Orionjs is looking at Meteor. I realized this wonderful platform, um, nobody was packaging it for the enterprise. And I thought, why not? It has to be done. And I'm here to talk to you about Orionjs and how that journey is unfolding. I will start with why Orionjs. What's the motivation behind Orionjs? Um, Basically, the goal is to make Meteor acceptable to enterprise. Uh, there's a couple of things that enterprise need. One of them being reliability. And we wanted to have a framework that could be relied upon. Orionjs has a guiding philosophy. And that guiding philosophy is we have to make things manageable. Complexity has to be managed. In Meteor, the way it is today, there's a lot of chaos going on because a lot of packages are being built. And people are kind of duplicating effort. So we thought that if we had a framework put together where the complexity of Meteor was managed for both experienced and newcomers, we would solve a big problem. So what is our roadmap? What is the end goal? How are we going on this journey? For us, the end goal and what we want to achieve kind of merges. And that is to make Orionjs the default CMS for Meteor. That if you're coming into Meteor land, you are basically coming into Orionjs land. And why would you want to choose Orionjs? There are maybe one or two other competing CMS framework. Why would you want to choose Orionjs as against taking something else? And one of those reasons is that Orionjs has a core set of packages that makes life easy for you. We've thought about the problems that any developer would face, and we try to solve those problems. We put them in a bottle for you so that you can just start off without having to think about it. So what are those core packages that I'm talking about here? It starts with dictionary. We have the accounts, and the list goes on to about maybe 15 of them. Core packages. These are problems that you would have had to solve on your own. By the time you use Orionjs, it's solved. You just you hit the ground running. So I will talk about a few of these packages and shed light into why each and every one of them do exist. The first one I'm going to talk about is the dictionary. Okay, and the reason why we made the dictionary is before now, if you made a site in Meteor, you basically give the admin doesn't have any way of editing certain content. So you're giving them static, or only the developer comes in to fix. In CMS, in true CMS, the admin or the editors should have rights to do certain stuff. And the reason why I put this little snippet of code here is this was the first thing that drew me to Orionjs, because originally it was being developed by Nick, pre-version 1, and when I saw it, I'm like, okay, what's this dictionary thing? And I looked at it and I thought, okay, good. This is what this is promising. Before we went ahead and had to rewrite the whole framework. Now, the dictionary is very powerful in the sense that it allows the admin to change certain stuff on the website. They are able to change, say, the slogan. They're able to change, let's say they wanted to have the best editor speak. They can do that without you having to do that, without them having to call the developer to do that. The other thing that is part of the core packages is admin teams. We have, for right now, we have 3 of them. We're working on maybe 2 more. We have one for the Bootstrap, we have for Foundation, and we have for Materialize. And these are really great packages. You should try them out. And also, another thing that's part of the core package is internationalization. Orion speaks your language. Right now, we have probably 6 languages right now in Orion. So we have for Russia, we have for Chinese, we have for French, we have for Spanish, we have for English. So if you're building a site for enterprise that have to speak multiple languages, Orion has that already solved for you. Orion also have what we call attributes. Attributes basically like objects that makes collection sparkle. When you're building apps and you are basically doing a lot of stuff within the collection, and there's sometimes some of those seeds that you need to do something complex. We have a few attributes that I will show later when I do demo that solve some of those problems for you. For example, you want to know who created a note, let's say an article. With an attribute, we already have it there, so you just plug and play. It's like a widget. So you put that into your app that you're building, and it solves that problem for you. Orion also uses, of course, we use collections. And the collection that we use is based off of autoforms and simple schema. And when I also do the live demo, I'll show you how we make this come alive. It's not just basic collections here. By the time you're adding a collection to MongoDB, we automatically create an index for you. So those are things that you need to, let's say you have on the admin page. You want to be able to show a list of all the articles on the site. In the past, you had to go and write all that. With that, Orion, it's done for you. Orion also has what we call relations. So how do I tie 2 node types? Okay, so an article about, someone writes an article and I want to tie to, say, cities. We have another node type called city. Orion gives you that ability for the author to be able to tie these things together and without having to call the developer there. Then we have what we also call pages. With the pages, basically, you as when you're using WordPress, anybody can come in and they can write a page, and automatically they can assign a menu to it. Now, we have that in Orion. So if you want to have a contact page, you want to have a about us page and all that, the author can come in there and they can just click a button, they put the content they want to put it, select the menu, and bam, they have a menu somewhere and they have the content. They don't have to worry about that. That's one of the things that you get for free. Then the other thing that you also get with using Orion is app configuration. Okay, prior to now, a lot of the environmental variables that you set in your app when you're making an app, you have to go there and do it statically. Okay, so let's say you're developing an app, a server, and you want to sell, or you hand it over to a company, and they have an Amazon S3 account or whatever account they have with Amazon. Now, whenever they want to change that account, they have to call you as a developer, which is not good. So we give you a configuration UI that the author, the admin of the website can come in and update those information without having to talk to the developer. We also have roles, and this is a major package. Now, permissions in any enterprise application, even in a simple application where you have more than one person accessing it, is very, very important. The permission system in Orion is very granular, and it allows you to go per node type and say, this person, this role, let's say this person is an author, editor, or senior staff. They can edit, say, articles, but they cannot edit cities. So you can go, you have that level of control. Another powerful thing that we added to Orion is reactive templates. Reactive templates, it's major in the sense that the core packages that we have, we make templates. But if you don't like it, okay, so you're using a core package and you don't like the look of a certain form or a certain page, instead of having to hack on that package, you have the ability to override it. And this is a very powerful feature that you find in CMS like Drupal and all that, where you can extend how a page looks without having to hack into it. Then the other thing that we also have in Orion is automated deploy. If you have ever, I mean, we all use Meteor here. You can do Meteor create, and you do have an app running. Now, some of the things that we're bringing into Orionjs is for you to have that ability to do auto deploy. So you can say Orionjs deploy blog, right? And if we have an example distribution called blog, or we have an example distribution called newspaper, just with a single line, you have that deployed. So you don't have to go and start, trying to no, just a single line, and you can do that. Or you want to change the admin look from Bootstrap to Foundation. You just say Orion, change switch, and it gives you a new look. So what are the things that are coming soon with Orion? We're working on SEO packages. We're working on front end, so you have something to start off with, because most of the stuff we've been doing basically for the back end. We're working on making those themes and being reactive CSS. So you can basically say you want your website from being from blue to color schemes, from blue to green and all that. So from the back end, the admin can do that. We're working on payment, and we're also working on taxonomy. Taxonomy basically is how is a superset of relations. So how those things relate, classification. How do two objects relate? So you can have distant relationships. So if, like you were saying earlier on, that you used to live in Toronto and you moved over there, so we can have that distant relationship about people who live there and they move over there. How do you get that? So having said that, so let's look at Orion in action. Okay, so and by the way, thank you guys for so far, so far so good. Okay, so this is Orion, and this is the front end. It took me a couple of hours to put this together, and I will show you the back end. This is the back end that we have. And for this backend, is it possible for me to move? Yeah. Okay, thank you. Okay, so for the backend, we have a dictionary. The dictionary was what I was explaining to you guys earlier on. For the dictionary, you can have, we have that is public, and that is site. You can have categories to the dictionary. And what does the dictionary do? Basically, you can come here and you say, whatever you write here, let's say you want to have something that shows up everywhere on the website, and you can change it here, change, and you can save it. And if you, sorry, but if you go to the website, to the front is right there, change. That's right here. So what this does is it gives the admin the ability to change anything from the back end and it reflects on the front end, without them having to know, a line of code. we have pages over here. The pages, I talked about it earlier. This is a page, and I can change the URL, and I can say OK, grow, and I can go down here and I can assign it to any menu that I want to assign it to. I can say footer, I can say top menu. Wherever I assign it to, it automatically appears there. So if we were to go down and we save this and we go back here, I have to refresh that page. Oh, sorry about that. I did the URL, not the title. I need to change the title. Okay, grow. So we have OK grow as part of the page here, and if you check the URL here, it changes the title. It changes to OK grow. So it gives admins the ability to be able to say, okay, I want to have a content page, I want to have certain pages, and automatically that reflects there. It makes life easy for everybody. You as a developer, you don't have to worry about that. So we solved that problem regarding pages. Then we have post. Post are basically what you would say. Pages are for single instances where you say, I want to have contact, I want to have FAQ, I want to have about us. Post are like stuff when you want to do arrays, like articles, like events. So basically you can call them entities or node types. If we click on that one, for example, one of the things on this page is on that division right there. I talked when I was trying to show through the slideshow regarding relations. Is I want this article to basically be related to Toronto. So if I go to cities, which I only have one city here, and if I added another city, let's say Montreal, and I think I need that as and I go back to post here. We have the option of choosing where we relate this article to automatically. So this is a problem we solved for you as a developer. You don't have to bother about how do you relate one node type to another. Then another thing we also fixed is accounts. With Orion, you get accounts for free. That's the only account that is on this package, but on the back end, you can add accounts. And not just only can you add an account, you can assign a role to that account. So if right now we have just admin and community, from the code, as a developer, you can set different roles, and the admin of the website can basically say, okay, I'm adding this user, and this is the role that I want to give to that user, and they don't have to call you. So we're making it more granular by the day, and hopefully in the future we can. You don't have to do it on the back end, but we'll give you a UI where you can actually go and pick those various permissions. And we also have the ability for you to invite someone to the website. So if you're an admin and you want people to come to your website, you can do the invitation, or you can create a new user. If you do the invitation, you send them an email, they get an email. If you do a create new user, they come to the website going through, they create that account. Then I also talked about the app configuration. Now, on the app configuration, as you can see, this is just, let's say, the admin can add AWS from Amazon. They can add the configuration, the access key and all that. So they don't have to call you. They can change at any time they want to change. They can change their plan. You're not involved in all that. This is a text editor. And you can basically add the key there. Let's say you're using whichever one you're using. If it's a paid one, you add the key there. So you can extend this to let's say Google account. You can extend it to say somebody's using Stripe, whatever account they use, and you want them give them that ability to be able to say, okay, I need to add this configuration variables here, and they can come in and do that and all that. And so that is that for regarding the backend, and this is basically the front end for this. Like I said, it took me like a couple of hours to put this together. This is any post that you put on the front end. This is regular Meteor, and the thing that we added there is basically the top menus and all that. Now, I would like to. I mean, so far, you guys following me? Okay. Any questions so far?
With the posts, is there any chance of like published or draft mode?
Okay, with the post, like to publish or unpublished?
Yeah, have like a draft mode. So
oh yes. Okay. So for now we haven't done that, but that's something we're thinking about. Posts having histories, right? So we're working on that because we know it's very important for you to be say, okay, who was the last person that edited this file? Okay, when did they edit that file? Is there a workflow, right? So if someone creates a post, does it have to go to an editor and who has to approve it before it goes live? So we're working on the workflow mechanism for that. We just haven't gotten there yet. Okay. Any other question? Okay. So I will attempt to show how this package was put together, looking at the back end of it. Okay. At Orionjs, we believe when you are going to make an enterprise website or an app, that you should use the methodology you should use is put a lot of all your stuff in packages. That way, when change like bugs are localized, and you can have a big team working on a project. And I will go ahead and excuse me. Okay. So for this, how many people here use coffee? Oh, nobody. Okay. Okay. So I will avoid coffee. Okay. So, but again, you can. When I was doing this, I made sure I did most of this stuff in JS. Okay, and I struggled. I struggled. But so forgive me if you see a little bit of coffee here. But what about Jade? Anybody use Jade? I mean, people use Jade here. Okay, Jade is awesome. If you're not using Jade, by the way, you should. It's very semantic, right? It's like you can see how everything flows there. Okay, so I'm going to try to explain this little app that I just showed here. So with Orionjs, one of the things that we've done is we've built this on top of Meteor, and we've used a lot of good packages. So we go out there, we find a good package, okay? And when we find the best of the best package, we incorporate it, and we talk to the programmer and say, hey, do you mind being a part of, Orion, work with us to integrate? So some of the packages that we use on the line is like publish compose, and what that does, I'm going to show a publication here, is basically instead of you just doing a regular publication like this, okay, which has a few drawbacks, in the sense that every time someone subscribes to your app, basically it has to be cached in the memory in the app, and the more people who use that app, it will crash because it just gets overloaded. But using something like publish composite reduces the amount of query that you have to do. So you have where you have the parent and you have the child. So basically, to cut a long story short, we use publish composite because it makes your app more responsive and less memory. So that's good for you. So I just wanted to bring that we use that for this. So one of the things that, like I said earlier on, we believe that when you build apps, it's good to use the packages. Don't just start throwing stuff like on the top level. If you check here right now, this route here is basically empty. So when you build apps, we encourage people, one of the best practices is put everything on the package level. That way you can also control the loading, how those pages are loaded, how the templates are loaded. So I talked about earlier on about regarding languages, translation. So with Orion, we give you a section where you as the admin, you can translate all the variables on the website. Now, let's say you're building this app for a company. You can give them this snippet. And someone within the company can fill that out and pass that back to you. They can say, this is what we want to name certain fields. So let's say you're doing a title, and they don't want to call it title, they want to call it names, or they want to call it some other variant. You can pass this to them, and they just fill out those information and pass it back to you. And problem solved. You don't have to worry about that. Now, I did talk about pages. The pages allow you to be able to have something live without having to define the route. Okay. If you wanted to show pages in all the sites, we've done certain things that we at certain levels of abstraction that makes it super easy for you to do that. So some of the things that we've done is like doing stuff like paths. So if you wanted to know a path for a particular page and all that, you don't have to worry about it. We've solved some of these problems for you. So, but anyway, that is my talk for today, and I hope you guys enjoyed it.
A question?
Yes, please.
How easy is it to use just parts of the framework, or do the packages totally generate as dependencies?
Okay, so good question. Good question. So we have the call, and you can take the call package, and you can add some other stuff on top of it, right? But the idea at the end of the day is to make it easy for you to come in, right? Not just we're trying to make it a complete solution for you, right? So you don't have to worry about what is missing here, but at the same time we give you the bare minimum, right? So that's why we're thinking about distribution. So we will have Orion minima, okay, and we'll have Orion standard, and we'll have Orion for newspapers, and we'll have Orion for, say, commerce, right? And it depends on where you're coming from. So you can either take that and start running. So if you want the minima, you just take the minima, and if you just want Orion, just Orion, right? Without any, you just take the call and you can build on that.
I guess just to follow up on that, there's
Yeah.
like about 15 packages in the core. So if you wanted to just take dictionary, is that something that would be possible, or is it coupled with some of the other packages and would not really run in isolation?
Okay, good question. Okay, so some of the apps that I've built, I don't use pages, right? So I just say Orion, Meteor remove pages, and I don't use it, right? So for those ones that I need to use it, you can do that, right? But there are certain packages that you just need in order to be able to work with Orion. So those ones are like the base, right? And even for the styling, you can say you don't want to use any of those. You can use on style, and you can just you can work with that. Any other question?
I guess I have one.
Okay.
You talked about enterprise features,
Yes.
I guess versioning, which you touched on.
Yes.
But it doesn't exist yet, correct?
Yes.
have you given thought to like how you would implement versioning? Like, would you use, you know, the traditional sort of, you know, document database type stuff, or would you consider using something like even Git to store the content and then kind of automatically get a lot of the versioning stuff for free?
Yes, so good question, but we have to be within the DB, within the database. The reason for that is a lot of organizations, they want to have control. So, and if you also want to be able to do backups, right?
Yeah, so sorry to interrupt, but the main core, like current content can be in the database.
Yes.
But you could also, anytime there's a change, you could push a change, that version, the previous version, as a delta to, I guess, Markdown or whatever, you know, HTML file on. It could be to GitHub or like some custom Git destination, and that way you're still just capturing the current. And anytime there's a change to the current, you're saving it to GitHub or Git and letting it manage all the versioning. So you're using it for versioning, not for content. Do you know what I mean?
I understand what you mean. But again, with Mongo, you can do that easily, right? So just keep everything in one place, and you don't have to worry about now. They don't have to worry about going to go set up a Git wherever, and they don't have to rely on a third party, and they can do everything in-house. So that's just it. Any other question?
What would be the single biggest reason for someone to look at Orion versus all these other CMS out there?
Okay, good question. Now, one of the biggest thing that Orion has is that ability for the admin to do stuff for themselves. When someone uses WordPress or Drupal, there are a lot of stuff they can do for themselves. So you give them a package and they can run with it. So that's where Orion is coming. No other CMS right now on Meteor allows you to do that. So like the dictionary I was talking about, right? So you can come there, you can change the slogan, they can, from the back end, they can change the logo, they can change a lot of stuff, right? Because you're basically allowing them to do it, you know, to set like the reactive dictionary, right? Or the section. So they're setting this. They can basically come in there, right, and change what they have to change, without they having to know, you know, line of code of what's going on under the hood. Yeah. Any other question?
Yeah, I have a question. You mentioned you were doing something for SEO.
Yes.
What is that?
Okay, so we're working on an SEO package right now that allows, because Meteor is not great for SEO, right? And so we're working on something right now that's going to allow you to get as much SEO as you would get using, say, WordPress, and that's amazing, right? And so we see toying with it, and as you move from page to page, right? Or if, let's say, it was Google, the spider and all that, going through from page to page, the metadata will change, right, in real time. So Google, because one of the problems you have right now, if you just come to a single page, they just see only one, you know. But with WordPress, as they go from page to page, they get to see different. So what we're building in right now, that's the bot move from page to page. It changes.
So setting tags in the head.
Yes, so the meta tag is changing. And for us to do that, in order for us to be able to achieve that, one of the things we find out that you can't really do a lot of that just using sessions, right? So you have to be able to go beyond sections and react in such a way that, you know, it's spontaneous. So yeah, that's how we're doing that. Any other question?
You were saying something about permissions. You're going to make it more granular.
Yeah.
Right now, do you have page level?
Okay, so I will show you permissions right now. Where do we have that again? One second. So on the Orion here, we have roles. Okay, so we have community. Okay, so you can basically create different pages for your permissions, or you can put everything, bundle everything there. Now for this permission right now that you're looking at right here, we have what somebody that has the role of community can do. Okay, so they can They can work with dictionary, okay? They can work with the post collection, and that's about it. They cannot work with cities. So if you have the community, you can edit the city. So if you wanted to give them that permission, then you go in here and you do that. But what we want to do down the road is take this from here right now, because now the developer has to do this, right? So they have to tell you, oh, we want you to do this. Say it's okay, you go there and do that. So but we're trying to, in the future, we're going to put this, make a UI for this, so the admin can go there and say, okay, this is what I want or not. They don't want. Any other questions?
How mature is it? Like, would you recommend it for every production app unhesitatingly right now, or is it still like?
If you're going to build an app on Meteor, right? Use Orion, because honestly, what you get is not just only our packages here. We're using the best of the best, right? So it's production ready, and it's just amazing what you get out of the box. Like I said, what I just showed you, we've done in a couple of hours. I know I'm part of the people that's making it. Yeah, it may be a little bit, but what you can get, like the menu, you can get the menu. You get admin for free. I mean, you get the user. What you get is just amazing without having to redo all that. Otherwise, you're spending weeks just trying to get to where we are right now. And we're also building a community around this, right? So it's not just a few people. So you're better off just being part of it. There's nothing else like it out there. Any other question? Well, then.
So my name is David Fudge, and I just wanted to talk about this because I figured something out that I thought was really cool, and this is a room full of people that I hope would appreciate it. I'm using Meteor for about a year and a half or so. I've been doing web stuff for about 19 years, and Meteor, I thought, from the first time I tried it, probably like a lot of us, this is the coolest thing ever. What I didn't like about Meteor, though, was Blaze, I guess, and the way that the templates work with helpers and contexts and data contexts and template instances and all that stuff. I just didn't like it, so I kind of left Meteor alone for a little bit, and then I found React, and I was like, wow, this is the coolest thing ever. And so I built a site with React, and I thought, this is great. And then I looked at Meteor again, and I thought, can I shove this thing into that thing and make something that's really cool? And I found the React Meteor GitHub package. I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. And so then, I built a couple of things with that. And then recently, I kind of looked at web components again and Polymer, and I thought, this is the coolest thing ever. And I know it's getting old, but and then I was thinking, can I put all three of these in the same pot and get something that's really cool and looks nice, and I don't have to work too hard at it because I suck at UI, and I thought it would be really cool. So I tried it. I'll just show you some code because it's easier for me. Basically, I tried doing stuff like this, putting my paper button in, I forget this stuff here, but putting my paper button in my React code, and it kind of worked, but it kind of didn't. I got no cool like shadows in my buttons and nothing like that, because does anyone use React? Nobody? Okay, so what React does is it used to have a whitelist of tags you can use. They took that away and basically allow any lowercase tags to be parsed as is, and any uppercase tags are looked at as JSX components. So the web components in theory should work, but they still have a whitelist of the attributes that you can put on any HTML tags or component tags. So things like raised, force narrow, mode, main, things that are part of web components, part of Polymer components, were just getting stripped out by React, and I wasn't getting all the coolness of the components. So I had to go about thinking, how do I, tell React that I actually want these there? And so what I did was I read a lot more documentation. I read a lot more documentation in the last year and a half than I have in my whole life. It's insane. But I read documentation about React, and they allow you to use data-anything, and it leaves it in there, or attr-anything, and it leaves it in there. So I thought, what if I just made a data Polymer attribute that it'll leave there, and then I can do stuff with it after. So I wrote a mix-in for Polymer that basically looks for that attribute in the DOM node and sets it when the component mounts. This got me my cool Polymer stuff inside React, inside Meteor. It was a lot of trial and error going through stuff. At first I had a jQuery thing, and I thought, that's stupid, I don't want to rely on jQuery, this can be done just with JavaScript. And then I was using document, get it on by ID, and I thought, well, that's silly because I have access to the DOM node in my JSX component right in front of me in the React framework. So I used that, but then this .get DOM node there, this gets your parent node, and then as I was mapping all the things under it, it was getting everything but that node. And I didn't want to have to encapsulate everything in a div, so I just also got this node and I put it on the front of my array before I start cycling through it. And so that's how I got these cool buttons with the ripple effect, and yeah, that worked. So I didn't want to show you that yet, but basically I also set up the logins. That's nothing special, but this layout is done with Polymer components inside React here, inside Meteor. So it's got the shadow DOM, it's got all the cool layout stuff that I was able to do with Polymer components and buttons, or doing all the cool stuff, right? And I thought it was really cool. Also, what I was able to do is, one of the other things I didn't like about Meteor was iron router, because it didn't work nicely, or I wasn't able to get it to work nicely with React. It was a big headache, and I was reading stuff, and then I found Orionjs had made flow router. This is great. Not the best thing ever, but it was great. And so I started using it, and the idea of flow router, which I found out after an update happened to their packaging and broke all my stuff, was that it doesn't block, so there's no wait on for a subscription, for logging in, or checking in to see if I have all the data from the collection before I go and try and render it. And this was a problem for me because, I was using it. So Orionjs kind of pointed me, I reached out to him, he was awesome, he wrote me right back. And he basically pointed me to the direction of using auth, or doing my auth stuff inside of a template. And that's now what the documentation says, because I sent him some of my code, and he wrote me back more or less saying, you shouldn't be doing this. Do it, another way. And so I ended up doing that with components, where, which one is it? I think it's in the table here. So I wrote this auth mix-in, which basically checks to see if you have a Meteor user ID. And it'll, if you, let's see, I'm gonna read the code here. If I don't have a Meteor ID, I can assume I'm not logged in. And if I haven't mounted yet, because this runs in component will mount, the lifecycle of React components, basically it creates your DOM element in memory, and then after it's done that, it creates state and property, it gets properties that you're giving your component, and then it will mount it in the DOM. So at this point, the component will mount, you have access to anything. Basically, you'll know if your component is ready to go into the DOM, but it hasn't gone there yet. So you don't see anything, it hasn't rendered. So before it renders, I check to see if you have a Meteor ID, and if you don't, I change the render method in my mixin to show an empty, like it's a blank page. My empty layout is here. It's empty. I have this div in here because I'm using an unmount. I'm unmounting a node that's supposed to exist in there, and if this doesn't exist, when it's trying to unmount from that node, it throws all these errors, so I just do it in. And then it will take me back to slash. If I'm, sorry, take me unauthorized if I'm trying to see something, and it'll take me back to slash if I'm not authorized. I wrote this last night at 1 in the morning, so it's a little fuzzy right now. But it works, and I was really happy about it. So what I'll do is I'll show you here. So basically, all this does is it logs me in and throws me to an authorized midway page that allows me to check any, on another project, I'm checking this, looking for my subscriptions. If I have global subscriptions for, well, if I was using Orion or something similar like that, if I was a user that had a bunch of posts assigned to me that I had written, and I needed to have all that data before I could show that page I'm looking for, this will be a subscription that I have to wait on. So this is how I'm doing my wait on, through a template or a React component in this case. I don't have anything I'm waiting on in this particular demo, so I'm just throwing the profile info, or if they don't have an ID, I throw them an unauthorized, which will throw them a sweet get the hell out of here message. So sign in with Twitter, it goes through the motions and then throws me to my authorized page, and now I'm in. And this is pretty much a stripped down version of the Polymer starter kit. So I have my side menu here, and I have just a paper button and some icon buttons, paper icon buttons up here, and there's a paper material that it's all sitting on, and it's using the toolbar, and I have drag action for the menu that's built into the components and stuff, which is pretty cool. Yeah, there's nothing there. And that's pretty much it. I can sign out, and because I have my off mixing on the parent, basically the container component, it'll take me right out and back to slash. And that's it. I just thought it was really cool, and I thought you guys might appreciate all of it. Any questions or anything? Okay.
Yeah, first. No. So one of the problems with Polymer, right, the web component from Google, right, on that from Google, that it's with the shadow DOMs, right, it's slow on mobile, right, and they can stay in the shadow, right. So using it with React how is it affecting, the responsiveness of the app?
No idea. This is the first thing I've done with all three. I just thought it was really cool that I got it to work at all. And, a room full of people that actually do this stuff, and I appreciate it because my wife does not. I just thought it, because it's cool.
No, the reason why I'm asking is this. The biggest problem we have right now is it's slow, right? And if you can somehow figure out to make Polymer react, right? And solve that speed problem, right? Wow.
Well, I'm working on it.
Yeah,
This is part of a project
project.
that I'm trying to make for mobile. And actually, I was going to try. My next experiment was to package it with Cordova, so a Meteor Cordova app, and actually have a native app with it and see if it worked or if it should everywhere, But it's all experimentation right now. Like, this is literally as far as I've got it.
What are some of the big things that stood out to you about Blaze?
That I didn't like?
Yeah, and what's the counterpart?
Well, I'd used handlebars a lot with Require, and that's a whole other story, but the way I was using Blaze was in components, basically. I tried to do as little iteration as possible within the templates, and stuff like that with it that I just didn't like. And then I got into using, or when I got into using any kind of jQuery plugins or anything with it, and trying to, I remember specifically data tables. It was hellish because I was trying to take the data context from my rendered event or callback and throw it to a helper function that was fired by a click event, and then I was what's the context here? Can I throw that in that data thing and have it available? No, that doesn't work. And okay, if I use a template instance, I can go over here, and then but it's different there and here, and I'd have to go back and forth. And the data context really messed me up a lot, just because it may or may not be this way, but it seemed to me like it changed based on if I was in the router or if I was in the helpers or if I was in the render. And I kept having to go back. It was like switching from PHP back to JavaScript, every 10 minutes. Plus. Why is it crashing? Dot, to concat, and stuff like that, that I was just finding it was hindering me and my thought process because, I guess I naturally jump around a lot. I have an idea, okay, do this here and that there and this that and this and to that, like this. And then when I go back and forth, I'd be writing, context this and data that. Why isn't this working? And I have to track it down. Oh yeah, it's not doing it's this over here. Just that kind of thing. And then having my templates separated from the JavaScript, going back and forth between files, I found really cumbersome.
So you like JSX?
I do. I really, and at first I was like, most people going, what are you doing? That doesn't belong there, and it just looks weird. And after using it, I'm like, this is awesome because everything is right there. If you use it properly anyway, because there's ways to mess up anything. Mm-hmm. But like click events, I have on click on this element, it's going to that function. Well, there's a function. Okay, it's doing that and doing this. As long as your components stay within themselves and they'll try and reach out and call reference to another component that's in the little namespace, and then you're going to get a mess no matter what technology you're using, right?
Cool.
Yeah.
Polymer recently got to 1.0. What was it that you were?
This is 1.0.
Right. What was it that drew you to Polymer to achieve try this amazing mashup thing?
I actually saw a YouTube video by Differential where they've, his name? Ryan?
Yeah.
Ryan.
Right.
Ryan Walker. Thank you. He was showing this app and saying, yeah, we suck at design, but look at this, and this is really cool, and you get this for free. And I was like, wow, that's so cool. I suck at design, I can do that. And then I watched, because I had seen Adi Osmani at FITC years ago talking about web components. I thought, wow, that's really cool. And then at the end of his seminar, he basically said, yeah, it doesn't work anymore. So we're still working on it. And now here we are 3 years later, 4 years later, whatever it is, and they got the 1.0. So I watched their keynote too, where they're talking about all this stuff, and I checked out the catalog, and I tried the starter kit. I was like, hey, this is possibly viable. Maybe I'll try it out. And so, I spent some minutes just poking it until it kind of worked. Yeah.
So you mentioned mobile, like using Cordova or something. Do you think it would be possible? I've never used React, but there's React Native. Do you think you could bypass Cordova and just push?
You can. I've tried React Native a little bit, and while it's easier than Objective-C, you still have to have a little bit of that knowledge about, because I was trying to make a simple app. I made one that it basically showed up, and then it took a URL, got some JSON back, and was supposed to show you a link. And I wanted to link to a website in Safari. Like the link, open Safari, shows the page. I couldn't do it. Reading the docs, it says linking iOS to .url or whatever it is, to the URL. It's not working. So I went on Stack Overflow, and a guy answered the question. Somebody else said the same thing. He said, "Oh, you have to go into Xcode and drag this library and put it in there and do this and that." And I was like, well, that kind of defeats the purpose of me not having to learn about all these libraries and where they are and how they all fit together, right? And I think React Native is a great idea. And I would love to get into it as I want to keep up with it because it's going to mature and it's going to be awesome. But right now I just don't have the time.
So it's for those who like the reaction.
Pardon me?
It's for those people who like the reaction.
Yeah.
Don't put your bleeding edge with your bleeding edge with your bleeding edge. Just get lots of paper cuts.
Yeah. So this doesn't work with Cordova yet. I can run it, but it has 0 styles because it's using Vulcanize, the Vulcanize package to take all my HTML imports and shove them in one file into the head. And I don't know why. I haven't investigated why, but I found an issue on the Vulcanize GitHub saying it doesn't work, and someone said, yeah, there's an issue with Vulcanize where whatever it's doing doesn't work in Cordova. If you pull them out and put separate imports to the HTMLs, that works. But I haven't gone that far to test it yet. Yeah, like I said, just poking at it.
Great job.
Don't judge me too harshly. Well, thanks guys, I appreciate it.